Okay, so solving capacity problems. So basically, these are just more calculations of volume, converting to capacity. Maybe there's two shapes that we have to use, that kind of thing. So just more practice. In the try these, it says which of these closed containers has the greatest capacity. So if you're filling them up with liquid, which would hold the most, explain why. So sphere, inner radius of 5 centimeter, cube, inner side length of 8 centimeters. Um, so we're talking about the inside because that's where it will be filled in. And probably you'll have to actually do some calculations. Sphere is a harder one to estimate. So volume of a sphere, remember, is 4/3 pi times the radius cubed. And then for a cube, that's 8 times 8 times 8, so 8 cubed. So 4 divided by 3 times pi times 5 cubed is 523.6. And 8 cubed, 8 to the exponent 3 is 512. So in this case, the which is greater is the sphere. This is centimeters cubed, which would be equal to milliliters. Same for both of them. Okay. Barry works on a farm. The silo at his farm is empty. What is the capacity of the silo to the nearest cubic foot? Well, it's kind of interesting that they said this. So capacity is really, we tend to then convert the volume to in metric, milliliters, liters, that kind of thing, in imperial to gallons, and so on. So, but they're just saying nearest cubic foot. So we don't have to do the conversion. So what objects form this composite shape? So there's a cylinder. And then the top there is kind of hard to tell, but that's a cone. So the top object is the cone. Remember, that's pi r squared times height divided by 3, or 1/3 pi r squared times height, if you want to do it that way. So we have to look here. We have to find the radius of that cone. It's going to be the same as the radius of the base of the cylinder. It's the same. And so that's going to be 6. So pi times 6 squared times, now the height of that cone is just this 3 feet. Okay, so get your calculator out. Pi times 6 squared times 3 divided by 3. Those kind of cancel out, right? And so it'll be 113.0973. 113.0973. What is the capacity of the bottom object? So that's the cylinder. So that's pi r squared, 6 squared, times the height is just the 12 there. So that is pi times 6 squared times 12, 1357.1680. 1357.1680. And so total, we add them together. So I have that previous, all of us will have, and then if you can go back, you can copy it, or you can add 113.0973, because we recorded that on our paper. So 1470.2653, 1470.2653. So to the nearest cubic foot, nearest whole number, that's going to be 1,470. And as I said, it doesn't ask you to convert to those actual capacity measurements. Okay. If you ever taken a capsule for a medication, you know, it's kind of gel on the outside, and so it's 3 dimension. This looks like it's 2 dimensions, but you have to envision that this is kind of a circle that way, circle that way. So it's basically half a sphere on the ends, and a cylinder in the middle. How much medication can the capsule hold to the nearest tenth of a cubic centimeter? Again, really, we should convert this to milliliters, but they're not asking us to. So on the next page, we'll have to go back and look at the measurements. So what is the capacity? So we have a cylinder plus a whole sphere. If you take a look at it, this is half a sphere here, right? And this is half. So in total, that's a whole sphere. So we've got a cylinder like this, okay, and then basically a whole sphere. That's a little bit, seems a little bit bigger. I should make that, so it's more like equivalent to that, right? So for the cylinder, it's pi r squared times the height. So this says, now you want to be careful here. So this is just pointing at this part of it, 0.5. And remember that in a sphere, the dimensions all the way, the radius is the same all the way around. So this is the radius of that hemisphere, 0.5. So this is 0.5 as well. So that is the radius of the sphere, 0.5 centimeters, and for the cylinder, and the height of the cylinder is 1.3. So this is pi r squared h, which will be 0.5 squared times 1.3. And for the sphere, it's 4/3 pi r cubed. And so that's 4/3 pi times 0.5 cubed. So we'll get calculator out. Pi times 0.5 squared times 1.3, 1.0210. Then 4 divided by 3 times pi times radius 0.5 cubed, 0.5236, 0.5236, and then add those together. So that last one plus 1.0210 is 1.5446. Okay, now let's do it in milliliters, because that's what we'll talk about medicine in. And so 1 centimeter cubed, remember, is 1 milliliter. So that's going to be we'll round to the nearest tenth, 1.5 milliliters. Okay, so now you can work on the practice for 4.9.